Okay, I'm going to kick off this week's Week in Review. It's August 1st, 2022. And first, I'm going to start, as I normally do, with questions from last week's Week in Review. First one, Connor Fotsch. Dave, if you wrote in the video description, 0 questions, 940 call to affiliate team, 1150 fire LEO reach, you'd create chapters for a clean video breakout and allow people to hop around. Cheers, man. Great idea. I don't know if I'll do it this week. I'll try, but I appreciate that. I should be doing that. Hayden Goodall. Love these weeklies, mate. Do you know if there will be more in-person level 1 seminars in the calendar next year on the east coast of California, Australia? I'll get back to you on that. I'll try to I won't get back to you. Let me reach out to the team and I'll try to make sure that happens, that we get a course in Australia on the east coast for next year. That shouldn't be a problem. That should definitely happen. Mary L. in Havana. What long-term plans does CrossFit have to maintain interest and longevity in the fitness space? I've been doing CrossFit now for 10 years, started at 20 years old, and in my community it's a lot of older adults and maybe a handful of 20 to 30-year-olds. Could be that a garage gym community has become more appealing now than going to an affiliate. So what plans do you have to overcome this? I hope to see my gym open still 30 years from now, but it seems like an impossible reality. So I don't think that this notion of, as garage gyms and garage gymmers expand, that that we're going to fight to prevent that from happening or be against it. I think all types of CrossFitters, all people doing fitness really is a good thing. And eventually people doing CrossFit in their garage gym, they might eventually move over to an affiliate. And sometimes people leave affiliates and go to and start their own garage gyms. And another example of all of this is people do train at an affiliate and also start their own build out their own garage gym just to have that at home for them to train. So it's not really one or the other, or it's not like there's contention that there shouldn't be. I do understand some affiliates see garage gyms as maybe a threat, but ultimately at the end of the day, I think it should help expand the number of CrossFitters in the community. So we should perceive it as a good thing. You hope to see your gym open 30 years from now, but it seems like an impossible reality. It's 30 years from now. Yeah, I don't think that should be an impossible reality. It definitely should be a sustainable goal for an affiliate, but I'll talk a little bit about that later in this brief. Dave, can we get an update on CrossFit's involvement with indigenous groups? I know there's some things going on with Canadian natives, and the Choctaw Nation has exclusively adopted CrossFit in all their wellness centers. Has there been any other indigenous groups who have reached out for health and wellness guidance or partnerships with CrossFit? Yeah, so after one of my weekend reviews, I mentioned contacting me so I could link you up with our point of contact. A number of indigenous groups reach out to me, and I linked them all up with Roger Boyer, who currently is our point of contact, and he's consolidating those groups and he's running with that. I don't have an update, but that's the status of there's motion of people communicating and getting together, and that's the first step. Jessica Piermont, with the way your relationship ended with CrossFit, was there ever a moment you considered not coming back? Absolutely. Yeah, of course. Yes. Though I think when I started hearing from a lot of people and a lot of the community and seeing how much my involvement mattered to the staff, to the community, to affiliates, that meant something, and that was more powerful than some petty resentment that I had. So I kind of had to look at the big picture as it all developed. Like I got past that. So when I say yes, it was a short moment of that. I quickly got past it. But yeah, I'd be lying if I didn't say I didn't think of coming back. But I'm glad I did. Thanks for that question. Von Lunak, what movements do you think are subpar for CrossFit competitions? As a spectator, I sometimes don't like seeing things that are too novel or seem to have less real-life functional applications. It seems to make certain events more random or luck-based. I think so. Ring dips were really hard for us to judge. They I think are subpar for CrossFit competitions because they're hard to judge. Not subpar for CrossFit training. Same thing with push-ups. Push-ups are hard to judge, and they're subpar for CrossFit competitions, not because they're not a legitimate training stimulus. So almost anything that is a subpar movement for CrossFit competition, by my standard, isn't necessarily a subpar movement for the training methodology. I think devil presses are ridiculous, but that's my own personal spin on things. I reread, thank you for that. Matt Reynolds, I reread Of Mice and Men about 6 months ago. As you said, way better reading as an adult. The last few lines are so impactful. Have you ever read Atlas Shrugged? Yes, great book. You should have a book club video once a week as well. Thanks, Dave. Not going there. Have you read the CM said, have you seen the Count of Monte Cristo? If so, thoughts compared to the book. This book is also my top 5 hands down. The book and the unabridged version, always the unabridged, is way better than the movie. The movie was cool, but you got to read the book. First thing, this is probably the most authentic form of communication and leadership I've seen in any business. Thank you. Second thing, really annoyed by the statement made by a semifinal director saying people have to spend money to essentially keep semifinals afloat. What's your take on it? Would like your take on it. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Semifinal, the model should not be where they are having to spend their own money to keep them afloat. But I don't have awareness to what was happening this year, so I can't say, and I don't know what semifinal director you're talking about, but I agree. The model should not put them in a deficit or put them in a spot where they're having trouble staying afloat. Third thing, you said that Hiller was absolutely necessary to the sport as a critic. I believe that was perceived as some sort of false validation or endorsement. I don't see where Hiller is bringing any value to the sport or practice of CrossFit. Did you mean critics in general, or specifically what Hiller is doing with this seemingly short-lived platform? I don't think he has a short-lived platform. I do think critics in the space are necessary. I do think criticism of the sport, of the decisions the team makes, of the way we do things are all part of it. As I've said before, what other major sport is out there that doesn't have basically professional critics and professional people attacking it? So I don't think Hiller's career is short-lived. I think he'll be around for a while unless he chooses to do something else. I don't know. Is it an endorsement of him? Yeah, it's an endorsement of his effort and of his existence. I don't have a problem with it. And like I said, I'd love to be involved right now because I'd love to tangle with him. But that's not the case currently. Okay, so done with the questions segment. Let's move on to last week. Talked to CrossFit Pleasonton. Had a good conversation with him about competition, some ideas he has around that, and similar. He has some level ideas for local competitions. I reminded him of our level system, which I created last year. They launched this year in the open. On that note, if there's any smaller local competitions who would like to try to implement or put in place the level system for their competition with my input or my thoughts on that, email me, dave@crossfit.com. And I'll work with a couple competitions, not many, but a couple on trying out the level system in their competitions. So dave@crossfit.com, hit me up on that. Fire LEO. So last week I reached out to, I put a call out on this saying basically if you're in those communities and you have ideas on implementation, integration, or what we should be doing for those communities, please email me. And I had a lot of emails. I've answered most of them. If I have not answered you yet, you will get a response. Just bear with me. It's going to take some time. And I actually ended up having a call with the fire chief. We had a really good discussion. I'm formulating. I'm seeing things. I'm seeing how to connect people, kind of where we can take this. I have a model in my mind that I think I want to talk with some members of our team, talk with some members of those communities to try to come up with something cool and powerful to happen or to make happen. If anyone else still wants to reach out, keep reaching out, and we'll try to communicate and see what's possible. So I also had a German affiliate call last week, and that went well. It was had to be translated, obviously. Great call. A small group of some of the most senior affiliates from Germany. They had a really good attitude. Everything seems to be moving along there quickly. We did the invitational the CrossFit Invitational years ago and it was I went to Berlin, super cool time. Actually, I flew into Basel, Switzerland, did a seminar in Basel, and then took a train to Berlin. It was an epic train ride across some beautiful landscape. Some of them, usually I ask about which gyms or what gyms use for programming. Typically, it seems like in all these visits I do, I'd say 20 to 30% of the affiliates that I visit use some sort of outside programming. And at this one, it was about the same percentage, and a majority, almost all of them, were using CAP. So that's pretty cool to hear, CAP being the CrossFit affiliate programming that Hobart and those guys program. There was an affiliate that emailed me recently about an IP theft issue. And so IPtheft at CrossFit.com. If you have any IP theft, meaning someone in your area is using CrossFit illegally, email IPtheft at CrossFit.com and they will get back to you. They are really good. So pass that word on that email address because that team is great. So an affiliate in an area hit me up and said, hey, we've contacted IPtheft and they haven't done anything. This other gym in the area still has CrossFit on their walls. So I contacted the IPtheft team and looked into it. And basically what had happened, and this is a pretty cool story on the professionalism and efficacy of this team, is they had communicated with this gym and basically said, hey, you're in violation. You need to stop using CrossFit. And through the back and forth, the affiliate team, that affiliate thought really appreciated the professional dialogue and communication from CrossFit, and then they changed their mind and actually said, you know what, we are going to re-affiliate and stay an affiliate because of this interaction with you guys. So bravo to Marshall and his team and that entire legal team at CrossFit. They do a lot of hard work and they are not highly visible or out there, and they're working behind the scenes, and they've been doing this for years. Marshall's been leading that team for decades, over a decade at least, I'm pretty sure. And they do a great job. And so IPtheft at CrossFit.com, you could even shoot them an email and say thanks for the work you do, because they definitely deserve that. See, I'm making little call or timestamps with each of these points, so I can add that at the end of the call. So at the end of last week, towards the end of last week, I had a call with some of the oldest affiliates, oldest in terms of duration, in terms of time having been an affiliate out there. There's 4 of them. I did a call with Curtis Bowler. He's the longest term affiliate. He's affiliated, I think it was 2004. He actually doesn't run his gym anymore, but he runs his affiliate out of his garage. Doug Chapman was another really long time affiliate that was on this call. Same sort of thing. Currently, he's not running his gym in a massive facility he used to have, and he's running it out of his home doing personal training. Hari from CrossFit New York, they still are running their gym, and they're like top 5 for longest gyms. I think they're number 4. They actually have 2 facilities in New York. They have giant facilities in Manhattan. Really, well, the one I saw was really big. I haven't seen the second. And so they still have a facility. And then there's a gentleman named Andrew from London, CrossFit London, UK. And they also have a facility. So this kind of ties back to that question about, someone said in the beginning, will my affiliate last for 30 years on one of the questions. So here we have, these affiliates are the longest in the game, and they're basically at 15, 16 years. That's the longest affiliate in CrossFit. And so they're halfway there. Obviously, another 15, 16 years is a long way away. But I think it's totally possible. I think in the case of CrossFit New York and CrossFit London, UK, there's no sign of them slowing down or backing off. In the case of Curtis and Doug, it's interesting because they did have facilities. Doug's was a really large facility. It's a facility that produced Julie Fouché. They actually both backed out of it and kind of just went into, for whatever reasons, they moved away from having their affiliate in a massive box with hundreds of members and moved to their gyms, to their garage gyms. Maybe there's a point where some owners and some people want to have a break or a transition or a different expression of it. And I think that's also totally normal. So I think we'll see all of it. We'll see some that, like these two, who continue their affiliation, but in a different, smaller scale model. And there'll be others who do have their box open for a very long time and keep it going. So thank you guys for that call. Enjoyed it. I'm going to try to do another call this week with some more of I'm going to have a list of the 50 oldest affiliates, and I'm just going to go down it and try to talk to them all in small groups. Saturday, I went to a level 1. That was a good time. I've always dropped into level 1s throughout. I used to teach them back in the day. That's how I got my start. Even before the games, I was working with the seminar team and teaching level 1s. Then I started leading the seminar team with Nicole, and pretty much did that all the way up until when Eric and co bought the company. But so the level 1s in that team is really close to me. Saw Katie Hogan and Wes, and it was at Wes's gym, Front Range or Coast Range CrossFit, and It was really cool. I haven't been to level 1 in a few months. Just popped in, said hello. The participants were all really they were all local for the most part, and really excited to see me, and hung out and talked. And I saw them doing the push jerk progression. It's actually the press and push jerk progression. And it was interesting watching the press into the push press, really no issues. And then the push jerk, there were still people that needed work and refinement. And I think over the years of having taught seminars for a really long time and been in this environment, in the beginning, those movements were so foreign to everybody. Even the overhead squat, the cleans, push jerks, everyone had to be basically taught from the ground up. Now there's much more exposure to those movements, and they're much more common. But that being said, I think there's not a lot of exposure to movements like the push jerk, the snatch, the clean and jerk, because they're technical and require a lot of coaching and require a lot of attention. So, and I'm not talking about CrossFit gyms, I'm just talking about in fitness. So when people come to the level 1, they still have a ton to learn in those movements, and obviously in the methodology. Then after that, they started technique, the technique lecture, which is a lecture that we created years ago. Greg created, but his stuff was very, every time we'd do a course, he would do a different version. So we kind of had to take the best of everything he was teaching and consolidate it into one lecture that we could replicate and scale across many instructors. And that was the big challenge with the level 1 in general, was just standardizing the material to be able to make it so we could replicate it so others could teach it and teach it across the world. That was part of my Saturday. And then Sunday, I went to a shooting competition and had one of my worst shooting outings that I've had in a very long time. It was a long-range competition, and I was really, I did pretty bad. And I didn't even look at the results at the end. I came back and I checked the zero on my gun. My zero was a little off. That shouldn't be the issue. I'll fix that. And I'm going to shoot 2 matches this weekend, 2 local matches. There's some matches in Hollister. Saturday, I'll shoot a little 22 match. And then Sunday, I'll shoot a long rifle, center fire, long range rifle match on Sunday. And hopefully I can unfuck myself and actually perform, at least to my standard. I did bad at this match, and I'm not really excited about it. That's that for today. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Again, comments, please put them in the, or questions, put them in the comment section, and next week I will address those. I'll address a number of those in the next week in review. So thank you. Talk to you guys soon. Maybe even before next week. I don't know. All right.